Hi, it's Christine Edgar at the Farmington Libraries. For today's Maker program, we will be making a watercolor resist painting. For today's program, you will need white school glue, we used a mini, black acrylic paint, something to stir with, we used a craft stick, watercolor paints and a paintbrush, watercolor paper. Optional, we also used a rose image stencil and graphite paper. So go ahead, get your materials, and let's get started. Okay, so we're gonna get started. This is our watercolor resist project. So I have, I guess you'd call it like a stencil of a rose, and I have graphite paper, which is like the old-fashioned carbon paper. So one side is dull and one side is shiny. You want to put the shiny side down, and then you put your paper on top of it. And you want to use a pencil or a pen, not a marker, but you want to use something because you are going to trace the outline of this, pretty firmly. And just holding this in place, you can see it traced it. So this is graphite, so when you trace it here, it will draw a graphite line on the other side. So I'm doing this while I'm talking to you. I'm gonna do this. I gave you 2 pieces of watercolor paper so that you can do it twice. You can draw, you can paint them, experiment with different colors of how you like. So we're gonna get started. So now we are going to get the rest of our materials and meet back. Okay, I'm just gonna kind of hold both these in place, peel it back. Okay, I missed a line of something. I think I missed this line. Let's see. And I guess I missed this. This is why I like to hold it in place. Sometimes I'll even tape it in place. This is not that bad. Oh, I love it. Okay, and I'm going to do my next one as well. Okay, for our watercolor resist craft, we are going to take this black acrylic paint and we are going to add our glue. So we're gonna add the glue right here. And we're gonna use our craft stick to stir. So you can see on the image of the rose that it says Rhythms of Play. That's where I got this website. It was on Pinterest, the blog. So they said you can use about a teaspoon of black acrylic, but really you only need a tiny bit because even if it looks gray, this white will dry clear. And I did a test of it, and it's true, it came out really great. So we're just gonna stir this up, and then we're gonna pour it back into our little tiny container. And this will be enough for a couple roses. I did 2 roses from a bottle this size, and I still had plenty. So this will give you a lot of fun. Oh gosh, I should have brought a little funnel. And it might, you might have a little extra in the container that you're holding because, we added a little to it. So it might not all fit in back. Oh, it looks pretty good. So just give it an extra stir in there, although if you look inside, you can see it looks great. So this is all set and ready to go. So go ahead and get the rest of your materials and we'll move on to the next step. Okay, so now that you have your glue ready, I'm just gonna test it over here. Okay, so you're gonna carefully and slowly trace this. This you might have to do in several stages to let it dry if there's any overlap. Okay, so now I have my picture and it dried and it looks really cool. You can kind of feel the glue texture. I mean, the glue is gonna dry clear and then it just leaves the black and you can feel it and it's really pretty. So I have some water and some tissues to wipe my brush and your watercolor set, which I haven't done in a long time. So what I am going to do is, I'm gonna kind of do some blue. That doesn't make sense, but I like blue. You can paint it whatever you like. I saw some really cool like tie-dye ones where it's all different colors. The nice thing about this is that it can make a really pretty project. You can use it for, I think, you could frame it. So like you could paint this rose and then you can paint the background and then you can put it in a nice frame. You could make an oversized card and use this as a cover. Another thing that I thought would be really cool is cutting out the outline of the rose and then maybe putting like a magnet on the back and making it something that you could keep. I feel like it's so pretty, you can really use it for something as a nice little gift. And it's so nice to have real watercolor paper because it doesn't spread or wrinkle as if you were using copy paper. That's why I tried to give you two so you could really test it and have fun with it. If you want, because you have a whole, palette, you can test it on some copy paper or scrap paper just to, get a sense, maybe blending colors of what you like. So you could use that as like a scrap, like a practice, and then you could go ahead and make something on your watercolor paper. Okay, so I did this whole thing blue, and now I'm gonna you can see I started to do this where I'm like kind of outlining it in a blue to blend it to make like a nice turquoise. I don't have like an amazing painting technique. I really don't have any skills when it comes to painting, but this is what I'm going to do. So not necessarily recommending you do it, but just that you can, you know, blend a couple colors and really personalize it however you like. I kind of wanted to see how it came out in blue before I decided to add a color. I've heard that you can, you know, blend it together while they're both wet. This is still kind of damp, so kind of does the same thing. But yeah, but you can't really mess this up. It's a nice little simple project. Just make it how you like. Okay, I'm all done, and I have to say I love it so much, but it came out in just the kind of colors that I like. So I'm happy because it's something that I want. So I'm gonna actually continue to paint. I'm gonna paint the background. Okay, so I'm all done and I'm really happy with it. And I have another one here that I will work on later. So this was a really simple but fun craft, and I really hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for more from the Farmington Library Adult Department.